risks identified during risk assessment have to be mitigated, or can lower risk be considered acceptable?
No, you don't need to. So I always recommend for your higher risks, and if you're going to CSA 4 or 5 in a traditional FMEA, the high risk, that you look at mitigation strategies on those and that you verify those mitigation strategies work during your validation. Your low and your medium risk, no, it's not necessarily to mitigate them. It's to be aware of them.
Right, and I think
Any other thoughts?
the catch to all of this is, right, you're using the risk assessment to help determine what additional work or effort you need to drive to make sure that you've demonstrated the system's fit for your purpose, right? That's, you know, this isn't like your traditional, and I think that comes from, you know, what is applied in the 14971 and that aspect of things when you are looking at risk in that standpoint, right? Remembering again, even in 14971 says that software is one of those things that's it's binary. You're not having those issues. So you're either proving out it works or it didn't work, and you're trying to figure out what failed here. And that's other aspects that CSA enables and does. So when we're looking at that risk activity, right, it's all about how much effort do you need to convey to give yourself the confidence that the system is fit for its purpose, right? There isn't a question of mitigation. Your whole process, oftentimes these tools are just one piece of a bigger process, is your mitigation for what happens to the product as it goes through the systems, right? It's not oftentimes these softwares are treated as if they're the sole indicator, determinator, and factor of, you know, that product not resulting in a safety issue, and that's not the case, right? Oftentimes, they are just a portion of control or activity that's going on within the broader system that needs to be factored in that assessment. But when we talk about mitigations, it's, you know, did it work or did it not work? There we go.
No, they're low for a reason. I mean, they're low risk, so they're low for a reason. If you're spending all your effort, and they're going to be a lot more of low risk, so then you get a priority inversion, right, where you spend all your time on the low risk areas instead of looking. You know, for that question, since it sounds, I mean, because any risk, right, you can accept, you can mitigate, you can transfer, right? They're different strategies for that. For further reading, I think GAMP does a fair job on looking at risk both at the system level and at the requirements level. You go read M3. I do believe that if you would look at say the RAMP model, the RAMP model is quite good. It discusses the system level risk at a very high level. So to understand that the nature of the system, and understanding the nature of the system first, that dictates your level of effort and what the system does. So those are just further guidance for whoever asked that question.
Sounds awesome. My organization, go ahead.
The risk analysis exercise, it's supposed to foster critical thinking, right? Thinking about what could go wrong and what you'll do about it. If you create a procedure where you require a mitigation for everything, you're just going to get junk out. It's not going to add value. You know, you can't do that type of dogmatic thinking. Risk is about trying to consider in advance what could go wrong and designing your system to make sure it doesn't happen.